Welcome into another episode of Full Courtney Press. This is one I am very excited about because you guys have asked to get this amazing person on the podcast, and we're getting her. Kelsi Musick, the Arkansas head women's basketball coach. And Coach Musick, I've sat down with you before the season started, but now that the season started and you're getting a look at your team right now, for people that don't know, they are 5-1, right? Their loss coming to Texas Tech, that was this past Sunday. They lost to them 80-68, but then they bounced back in a big way, taking on Little Rock just last night in Bud Walton Arena and just absolutely pummeling them. I think that's the best word I can say for that. 96-57 victory. Coach, you talked about it after the game. You were proud of your team for the bounce back. What were some of the things that you liked to see in that win over Little Rock and just seeing your team respond in a big way?
I was probably most proud of the fact that we really did focus when we got back from Tech on sharing the basketball, really honing in on doing a bunch of breakdown drills offensively. And I felt like it actually translated to the court. It translated to live game action. We actually had 19 assists last night. And so I thought that was huge because we hadn't been sharing the ball at the rate in which we needed. I remind them all the time, you can all score, but sometimes when, you've drawn the defense, we've got to share the ball a little bit better. And they did that last night. And I thought it showed in the stats and it showed on the scoreboard.
Absolutely. And Coach, it was also nice to see the pressure that you put on Little Rock very early on. You controlled the tempo, you controlled the pace, and that's what you kind of talked about in the post-game press conference. You said, I really like the pace of play, right? I mean, did you feel like that was also a good thing to see? Because it felt like you were kind of getting back to your style of basketball after that Texas Tech loss.
Absolutely. I think that was huge. I mean, again, that was the other thing we focused on was our full court press, and we hadn't ever really ran it. To be honest with you, we've tried, but we just never fully got it. And so again, a lot of film sessions, a lot of breakdown in the little bit of prep time we had. And I thought, again, it translated. They're starting to, make those translations from prep to practice to actually putting it into game time situations. And that translation, I thought really paid off last night. I thought our intensity, like you said, we controlled the tempo. We wanted to speed them up because a lot of teams have been trying to utilize a whole shot clock and making us guard for 30 seconds. And that we want to play fast. We want to score. We want to get up and down the floor. And so we controlled the tempo, especially early on from the tip. And I thought that was a huge difference too. We made them take rush shots so we didn't have to guard in their sets and their action within that motion offense that they like to run.
I know we don't have you for a super long time, so I want to get into some of the players as well that you have on this team this year, because that's what everyone wants to talk about, especially a big name around the country right now is the freshman from Down Under, which I feel like she should trademark that because that's just such a great, such a great nickname for her. But Bonnie Dees, I mean, last night, once again, just looked incredible in that game. 15 points and 15 rebounds? That's like the first time a freshman has had that many rebounds in a game in it's since 2003, I think, 2002 or 2003. That's just insane. What has she brought to your team this year, Coach?
Man, I love her toughness, her grit, and she's got a motor. The one thing I love about Bonnie is she's going to play hard, really hard on both sides of the basketball. So all the little things that, sometimes you get a player that just wants to score, just wants to do one thing. Bonnie wants to do it all. Bonnie wants to guard the best player. Bonnie wants to guard the ball. Bonnie wants to go get rebounds. Bonnie wants to score. Bonnie wants to do it all, and she's not scared and she's not going to shy away. I think the biggest thing last night is I felt like, she wasn't as settled at Texas Tech, and there was another game she wasn't as settled, and she was trying to force some things. I was like, Bonnie, let's take it back a notch. We sat down, we watched film, we broke some things down so she could see. I was like, I love the speed. You go so hard. I love that about you. I was like, but now when you draw, let's see what's going to be open. So we did breakdown. We got the pen and paper out. We've been spending some time just working, and I think it's starting to pay off because she took the focus off just trying to get downhill to I'm going to rebound, I'm going to defend. And then she just scored, effortlessly. So I love the fact that she is so coachable. Her tenacity, her grit, and her motor, next level. I love it.
I also think we should say really quickly, she 15 rebounds. People who don't know her might be going, "Wow, that's a tough girl. That's like that's like a center." And no, she's a guard. She's a guard. She's a 5'9" guard. I mean.
5'9" guard.
I just sometimes I have to remind myself. I'm like, oh my gosh, that's insane to me. Coach, you talk about building, right, on that just raw talent. I feel like, and you can probably speak to this a little bit, sometimes it's just getting that those freshmen kind of, oh, I want to play basketball, right? And you're like, whoa, let's slow down. Let's play your game. Let's get those technical things correct. Is that kind of what you're doing with her right now?
Absolutely, because she does want to play hard. She does play fast, but being more technical, being more efficient. She's also so physical. So she's gotten in some of these early games, she's gotten some charges. I don't need Bonnie in foul trouble. So really helping her understand speed and physicality, but having some control, making better decisions, not having tunnel vision. She's so dynamic. She can come down and shoot it off the dribble. She can get downhill. She's a great passer. She can really do it all. And like you said, she's a true freshman. For someone that can rebound at the level in which she does at her size, her physicality, her tenacity, and her speed. And she's fast. She has all the intangibles as well as a high level skill player, but she's also a high character kid. And man, she's something special.
Absolutely. I think more coaches around the country would want to have a Bonnie on their team. I absolutely think that 100%. Coach, talking a little bit about some of the other players on your team, it was nice to see Yvette Mayberry back on the court with you guys. That was nice to probably get her presence, and that you guys probably could have needed through these first couple of games for her stat line. She obviously coming back from injury. It's going to take a little bit to get back into it. But were you impressed just to see what she was able to do with, 7 points? She had a rebound. She had 4 assists. So, was it nice to kind of see her get back in the groove of things? And where do you want to see her get better?
So excited to see Yvette. She's seasoned. She's a veteran. She's a true point guard. And so to have her out on the court, handling the basketball, making great passes. Like you said, her assists. And then the fact that she can really shoot it and make good decisions, just really want, to get her comfortable, get her moving again, get her stamina back up to where we can, maximize her minutes. And we're going to need her. She's essential. She's a huge part of this team, this program this year, and part of this rebuild. And we have to have her back on the floor. So just, like I said, trying to maximize her minutes and get the most out of her, but helping her grow and not pushing her too hard, because, there's a fine line at this point, because it's also about longevity. We need her for the entire season. So, trying to make the best decisions and being smart with her minutes. But I thought she did phenomenal last night, because at Texas Tech she'd barely been released, and so we had 1-2 days of practice. Now it's different. Now she's getting reps. She's getting to settle in. She's getting those reps with her teammates again, and she's just gonna get better and better. And we need her. We need her seasoned veteran leadership.
I think I saw her dad in the crowd too, right? Watching that.
Mom and Dad were there last night.
Oh,
How awesome is that?
Oh, I love that. That's just so special. Just to get to see their daughter on the court in Bud Walton Arena. For those of you who don't know, probably you recognize the name Mayberry, right? Lee Mayberry, Arkansas legend, her father. It was just cool to see those photos, because I felt like for a Razorback, you were kind of like, oh, this is just a sweet moment to watch and just see that. And I'm sure it will continue as she continues to grow and get back to full health, right? And just get back to being 100% on the court. Can we talk about Talea Jones? Come on. Another game. Leading scorer on your team last night, 19 points. I feel like, and maybe you can tell me if I'm wrong here, Coach Musick, but I feel like we haven't seen everything Talea can do just yet. I feel like she's kind of getting back into it, and you're like, oh yeah, okay, we're playing basketball now. But I feel like this isn't her peak, guys. This she can do much more, right?
Oh yeah, Yeah, she can. She's dynamic. I mean, and she hadn't really shot the ball well, and she was efficient last night. I mean, she can really get to the rim. She's crafty. She's a good passer, and she can really shoot. I mean, she's just so dynamic. I totally agree. She's played some really good games, but nobody's seen the best of Talea yet. And basketball is a long season, and I know she's just going to continue to shine and get better and be just a huge, vital part of this program for this season for sure.
One thing that you kind of talked about in your post-game press conference last night, and I liked what you said here. You said, we're getting there, but we still are figuring things out, right? We're still that early on in the season where there are going to be, hey, we're all figuring each other out right now. And it doesn't mean we're a bad team. We're having to go through those bumps in the road. Do you feel like this team right now, through 6 games, do you think they've surprised you in areas, or do you feel like, okay, they're at where they're supposed to be, or there's still more? Where do you feel like this team is at in your assessment right now?
I always believe that there's more, because I have extremely high expectations. And I think almost all my players still have a really high ceiling. So I know that there's more in their tank, but I also am extremely proud of them because we have come a long ways in a short amount of time, in my opinion. So I would say yes to both. Honestly, because there have been some moments where they've surprised us. I think that we have to be more consistent. We have to limit our turnovers, and just finding out those rotations and the chemistry and the unity that we need in order to be at our very best. There have been games where I thought we've played closer to 40 minutes, more of a full game, but then there's been minutes where games when we played maybe 20 or 15, and so that's part of the growing pains. It's part of the early stages of a team and a season, and just kind of piecing it all together and helping them, really, we've been playing games with Yvette, but Yvette's a huge piece to what we need to do. So getting everyone comfortable with those rotations and her back on the floor, and, our post players, there have been some games where it's been more of a guard oriented lineup where, as we get deeper into season, we're going to have more post play. So just all of those different scenarios and situations that you're going to encounter in some non-conference games. Again, I think there's been a lot of positives, and there's a lot of things that we definitely can work on and grow from to be better and continue to grow as we get into conference play closer to January.
You got to like the mentality of this team, though, right? Even in that loss to Texas Tech, it felt like your team was still fighting there at the end. It was like, we're not out of it until the clock hits 0, right? We're still going to fight. We're still going to fight till the very end. I also watched that in that UCA game when it went to overtime, right? There's a lot of teams that would go, oh man, we're playing UCA and they're taking us to OT, but just the fight. And you didn't have Yvette in those games. And so for you to watch that mentality, that's got to be something that gives you confidence as a head coach, especially when they're going to need that when you face some tough competition coming up in January in conference play.
Absolutely. I think it goes to speak highly of our culture and the things that we're instilling in practice, and the fact that they're not going to quit. They're not going to roll over, and they're going to fight until, like you said, the final buzzer. I make them play to the whistle. I don't care if the horn goes off. There's certain situations in practice where I'm like, you're going to play to the whistle. And just putting them in those situations and really pushing them and motivating them and helping them grind and get their confidence back up and putting them in, like I said, those situations in practice and helping them fight and be gritty. It's the culture. It's the program that we want to have, that there's going to be a fight. There's going to be no quit in us. And sometimes you just got to find a way. Like maybe we're having a bad day shooting, but you got to find a way. I tell them all the time, what do we need from you for this moment? Because you might not always be the leading scorer, because you can all score. Maybe I need an extra rebound tonight. Maybe I need you to hit the big shot, but maybe I need you to hit the big free throw. Maybe I need you to get a big stop. But everybody has to be at their best and give us what we need in those moments in order for us to be successful. And of course, it can fluctuate. No one's going to shoot 100% every night. No one's going to have their best game every single night, but we have to be the best team and the best unit, and we have to be willing to fight and, learn how to continue to trust and grow and be there for each other so that we can be the best that, we can potentially be.
And I think that's why people love you and love this mindset that you have, because it starts at the top, right? It starts with your coaching staff and then goes right through the team. And you went viral on my social media. I don't know if you realize this, but you went viral on my social media not too long ago. I had people reaching out to me going, this is Arkansas's coach now? I'm like, yeah, this is. And it was a clip of you in the locker room being like, we don't accept mediocrity. We're not going to just be okay. And I'm going to tell you, Coach Musick, where's my uniform? Put me out there. I'm ready to run through a brick wall for you. I mean, that was just so passionate, and people around the country loved it. If you're not an Arkansas fan, you loved it. I mean, that's just you. I kept telling people that is just Coach Musick, right? Because from a young age, that's kind of what your parents instilled in you, and that's what you expect, right? It's not that, okay, we can go out there and beat them by 39, but there's still better that we could do. We need to beat them by 45. We need to beat them by 50. Like, right? For people that don't understand, that's just you as a coach, right?
Oh yeah. That's just the real raw. What you saw was literally me being authentic and real and extremely passionate. That's just who I am. And that's the way I coach. That's the way I approach life. That's the way I live. And and it was the moment, and that's what came out. And that was from, the depths and the insides of me. And I felt like that's what my team needed, because it's not just about, obviously it's not just about basketball. I want to win. Like I tell them, I hate losing more than I like winning. Like, I hate losing, and I want us to win. But at the same time, I want them to win in life. I want them to win as young women. I want them to be better in all aspects of their life when they leave this program, and to have been successful, to have enjoyed the journey, to leave here confident, fearless, all of those things. And so in that moment, that was real, raw, authentic Coach Musick at its finest. And, and I don't want to accept mediocrity. I don't want them to settle. I don't want sometimes. And I tell them that all the time, and I mean it.
I know you definitely mean it. I mean, I could play that clip waking up in the morning just like, yeah, I can do it today. I'm not accepting mediocrity. It was great. I'm just letting you know, I'm glad it went viral, because I was just like, this has got me fired up on a Friday. I'm ready to take on the day. Today, I'm going to listen to it after we get off this. I'm just going to listen to it. I'm ready to take on the day. So I appreciate you. I know we're running out of time. So one final question here that we'll do, because I know people are excited to see what's coming up. And you guys actually play in a tournament this upcoming week, which is kind of cool, in the non-conference, going over to Nashville, playing in the Music City Classic. You play Drake and you play Southern Illinois. That's probably just good experience for your girls to get in some tournament action. Playing 2 games in 2 days, that kind of, it's like, hey, feels like the SEC women's basketball tournament, right?
Absolutely. And then just like you said, putting them in those situations, one, it's road games. We've got to get better on the road, and then playing back to back. There's going to be moments when that has to happen, and trying to prepare them for those moments that we're going to see in the future. And making sure we're handling our business on the road. And it's different no matter what. Going on the road, playing, staying in a hotel, being in another gym is always different, but preparing them mentally for that, physically for that, and helping them understand, like, we still have to perform at a high rate. You also have, it's Thanksgiving week. So you have, a holiday in the middle of that, and helping them be responsible and helping them be mature about how we go about it, how we handle those situations, so we can rise to the occasion. And it's a great test, and it's a great opportunity, and we're excited to take the road again.
Will you do anything fun for Thanksgiving with them? Will you do any team stuff?
Well, we have 2 games back to back, and then we're headed home. They actually will get Thanksgiving Day off.
Great.
So that'll be a blessing for them, for those that are around here. I know that they'll, some of them are within driving distance. Some of them will, be able to go to their teammates' homes. And so it'll be nice that we can actually get back, and, God willing, we make it back safe. And then everything works out for them to have that day off to kind of recover and enjoy some downtime and the Thanksgiving holiday.
Well, that'll be definitely nice for them. Coach, thank you so much for joining me on the show today. You were great.
Absolutely.
As always. I'm seriously going to go, right when we end this, I'm going to go listen to that clip one more time.
It's Finish Friday.
Yeah.
Finish Friday. Let's go.
Yes.
Finish Friday.
Finish Friday. I love it, Coach Musick. Thank you so much again for joining me. That's been another episode of Full Courtney Press. We'll see you next Wednesday.